NRL news then. Let's get straight into the biggest story this week. And Brian Toto joining the PNG Chiefs. We had a feeling it was going to happen. He's very good mates with Jerome Luai. I think he was either best man or he's very, very close anyway to him at his wedding. And there's just so many people off contract at the Penrith Panthers. Someone or a couple had to go. But another amazing signing for the PNG Chiefs, and they are going to be Premiership ready, as we mentioned a few weeks ago.
Yeah, huge story. I think the Penrith Panthers gave him permission to speak before November 1 anyway, gave him a week to discuss contract terms. They knew it was probably going to happen. Brian seems a really honest type of fella as well, where, he would have said, I'm thinking about leaving, I'm thinking about going, the likelihood is I'm going to leave. So I think they've got enough respect for each other at the Penrith Panthers and Brian Toto that the permission was given and the deal's been done. And again, it's the unfairness for the other teams, for me, the Perth Bears. And it's like I said, they're not recruiting. They're knocking back who they don't want. And they're recruiting who are being brought to them by many agents in the game. I think he's the sixth now, isn't he?
Yeah.
The sixth player. Connor Watson, AJ, Jerome Luai, Matty Lease.
Zach Lomax.
Manu, Zach Lomax.
Yeah.
So there's lots of them that are going to end up at the PNG Chiefs, and Willie Peters is going to have a job to pick a 17, I think.
Yeah, he is. The squad is unbelievable. They've also been linked with many other players, and your jaw drops. And obviously the question of Nathan Cleary's still not out yet. He's still not. Cameron Munster. It's just madness. I didn't think we'd ever see anything like this in our lifetime. But it was all signed off. It was all okayed by the leagues, by the governments. I was okay, like I said on a few podcasts ago. I'm okay with giving a team a leg up. I just think this is handing them a premiership. I think there's a difference. And I understand they need help. They're in a different country. They're going to be in an isolated area. But yeah, it's too late now. We go and we watch.
It's like everyone's now in uproar about all of this, but
and they already knew.
They must have had an inkling that this was going to be the case before signed off. So it's going to be an interesting one, because I thought they may be top 8 ready, and I think I put on Twitter yesterday, I think they're top 4 ready.
Top 4,
they're going to be top 4 ready.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll move on to the next story that's unfolded, and I only seen this morning, but we knew it was coming. Corey Horsburgh meets with Mal Meninga and Perth Bears. The deal's not been finalised yet, but I've got a feeling with the Paulo Pauli deal has broken down with Parramatta Eels. So Corey Horsburgh is now going to be looked at as that alpha, possibly captain of Perth Bears. And he's going to be the alpha to charge forward with that pack. So I would imagine there's going to be a hefty salary on the table for Corey to go over there.
Yeah, there was talk of Brisbane Broncos, Dan, wasn't there? There was talk of Brisbane Broncos, but that seems to have fallen down with salary cap restrictions at the Broncos. So, Perth, it's amazing that you look at the difference between PNG and Perth and recruitment, that they're still looking for that alpha in the front row or the middle of the field, and they still haven't got that over the line. And Corey Horsburgh is now the one that they're looking to for next year. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. I think he'll be an incredible signing for them. We know how good he is. We just also know he's got that short fuse that can cost you a game, as we're going to go into a bit later of what happened on the weekend. But yeah, we wait to see how that unfolds. But normally it's Michael Carianis, the journalist in Australia, that's broke the story, and he doesn't break stories unless there's something behind it. So I would imagine this is going to get done, and especially with Ricky Stewart's comments after the game on the weekend, there's no extension on the table for him, I would imagine, at the Raiders. Moving to the next story then, Penrith Panthers outside back Izack Tago linked with a move to the St George Dragons. Another player, they're having a complete overhaul, St George Illawarra Dragons, and they are in desperate need of centres. That is the one position that they are short on, because at the moment the predicted lineup is showing Clint Gutherson as starting at centre next year. And as much as I love Clint, he's been amazing over his career. He's slowed right down, and I don't see him with enough pace to play in the centres. Defensively, he's quite good, but age isn't on his side anymore. So they are desperate for a centre, and this lad has been unbelievable. Before he got dropped out of the team by Ivan Cleary, he was playing some incredible rugby league. So I think if the Dragons can get hold of him, it would be an incrable move for him. What's your views on this one?
He's on the peripheral, isn't he? At the Panthers right now, and with the way their outside backs are playing, it doesn't look like getting back in the team. And again, at a cost of the salary cap and at a cost of quality players, you can't keep everybody.
No.
Particularly if they're not playing in your top 30 or they're not playing in your top 17 every week. So, yeah, it's I think it's a good move from the Dragons. And as you say, it's a complete and utter overhaul there.
Yeah.
It'll be a really, really tough pre-season and an interesting pre-season for the Dragons because they've got lots of gelling to do with different players in different positions.
Yeah, it is. But we wait and see how that one unfolds as well. But the Dragons recruitment, man, Daniel Anderson's gone in there and he's shown what he's about, and he was incredible over here. When I seen him at St Helens, you just know what he's all about. And yeah, he's on paper he's getting it right. But it's like you said last week, it's if they gel. But let's be honest, as a Dragon fan, you would rather have them in there trying to gel than not have anyone at all. So let's see how they go. Next piece of news: Lipoi Hopoi has agreed a 2-year deal with the Canberra Raiders from the Canterbury Bulldogs. He is a front rower. He is only 24 years of age. He's made 17 first-grade appearances for Canterbury Bulldogs. But that just, to me, says, yeah, Corey Horsburgh is on the out, and we're going to invest in someone who's young and new. I think it's a good opportunity for him because there will be a space there, especially with Morgan Smithies going as well. So there's definitely going to be game time for him there. Have you ever seen him in action? I know he's only played 17 games. Have you ever seen Lipoi?
No, not particularly, but I know he's a big boy, and I know they've got big raps on him. So, the Raiders are an interesting one because they've gone from minor premiers last year to nowhere near the 8 and even close to the bottom. So, there's going to be a huge overhaul there, and Ricky Stewart's not messing around.
No,
a big opportunity for him to go in there and stamp his authority and become a regular at the Raiders and make a real difference. So I've not seen much of him, but I have seen a few highlights and the raps on him. So there's so many players over there that are not in top 17s of each team that are probably very much can be in the top 17 of another. So there's some swapping and changing with players. There's some big players going out of clubs, as you've said, at the Raiders particularly, and some big opportunities for players going in.
That's why the big shift seems to be happening, doesn't it? Because it used to be Super League clubs would look at people coming towards the end of their career or someone who's been done for betting, drugs, whatever they've been done for off the field. Now it seems to be anyone who's in that 24 to 30 spot of the squad, or Queensland Cup, New South Wales Cup, as we're going to touch on with Warrington Wolves. They've signed a couple recently. That's how it seems to be changing with the Super League. They seem to be absorbing or trying to, like we've seen it with Saluka Fafita at St Helens. If you're not getting in and there's not looking like they're getting in, they're obviously the Super League clubs are moving quick to acquire them. But yeah, I think he'll have a good opportunity and a great coach at the Raiders anyway. Next piece of news: Loco Pasifiki-Tonga has extended with the Dragons. They've offered him a long-term deal. I don't think the details are out of it yet, but it's looking like 4 to 5 years. So they've highly rated him for a while, and his performances in the last 7 to 10 games since he's got back into the team under Coach Dean Young, he has been immense. And he's only young, he's in his early 20s. I think he's going to be a 200, 300 game NRL player. That's how highly I think, how highly I rate him. I think he's going to be incredible. What do you think on Pasifiki-Tonga? Like him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he's a big player for the Dragons, and I think he will be. It's not only important who you recruit, but it is who you retain as well. Particularly at the age he's at, and what he's done, as you said, in the last 7 to 10 games. Huge result at the weekend for him. Looking forward to seeing how he develops. I guess when you give somebody such a long-term contract, you're always interested to see how it goes. We've not seen the ones from Jason Taumalolo, the 10-year contract before.
No.
And people thought that was a stupid idea, and he's still knocking around, and he's probably earned every penny of what he's earned over them 10 years. So it's interesting over the next 5 years how it develops, or however long the contract is, 4 or 5 years.
It does. Last piece of news of the NRL this week then. Another contract extension, Jackson Ford with the New Zealand Warriors, 2-year deal extension, imperative deal. He had to get it done for the New Zealand Warriors' sake. With them losing Mitch Barnett to the Brisbane Broncos, and Jackson Ford's performances this year, especially before Origin, he was in the running to get into the Origin team or starting the Origin team. He's been immense, and I think it's a massive upgrade for him, and I think it's massively important for the Warriors to have got it over the line.
Yeah, again, retention. Once you're losing Mitch Barnett, once you know you're going to lose Mitch Barnett, you turn to what's within your organisation, and then you have a look if you've got somebody in there that you feel can step up, or a couple of players even, what you can upgrade. Or you go out and you have to buy big, you have to get a Fisher Harris or somebody that comes in like the year before. So huge piece of retention and upgrade from Andrew Webster. They've the sneaky feeling they could be in the grand final this year. A huge result last weekend against the Panthers. So big news coming out of the Warriors. They've got one hell of a team right now.
Yeah, they have. That wraps it up this week for the NRL news. We're going to get straight into the Indigenous round. It was this week. Some incredible kits that they all supporting and wearing. We're going to get into the breakdown of round 23. If you enjoyed this segment, the full 90-minute podcast with all 5 segments is linked below, where we discuss the latest Super League and NRL news and results, plus the bonus segment of Question Cookie each week. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon to be notified of all future content uploaded by NRL Insight UK. Thank you for your continued support, and see you on the next one.